was on the red carpet the other night for the premiere of The Post, a Steven Spielberg film that shows how the Washington Post obtained the classified Pentagon papers revealing lies about the Vietnam War after the Nixon administration got a court order to stop the New York Times from running them. The movie portrays the enormous pressure on Katharine Graham and Ben Bradlee, both of whom I knew well, played here by Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks.
You're talking about exposing years of government secrets.
Is that legal?
What is it you think we do here for a living, kid?
Meaning?
Well, we could all go to prison.
I asked Meryl Streep about playing the legendary Post publisher.
Were you surprised when you studied Kay Graham to find out that she was not this super confident, steely executive as she might have seemed to the outside world?
You know, it was heartening to discover that, because I don't think there's a woman alive who has been sort of found herself at the pinnacle of her career and doesn't feel in some way that kind of imposter syndrome and insecurity. Even given her success, she suffered that, and I could relate to it. I think many women can, and that's a shame. That's a shame, because we shouldn't apologize or fear.
I asked Tom Hanks, who, like Meryl Streep, has taken shots at the president about saying that Donald Trump is monkeying with the Constitution.
You see parallels between the press battles of the Nixon administration in this film and the current climate, given that you've talked about President Trump's insidious campaign against the media and monkeying around with the Constitution?
You said insidious, and I believe that the Nixon administration at the time did a full frontal assault on the First Amendment by literally trying to stop the press from publishing. Now, I don't know that you can't do that and still have the United States of America. I think the current administration and their like-minded allies are waging a guerrilla war on the First Amendment. Not quite as overt, but by diluting the job they do in order to establish what the truth is. You sort of raise the legitimacy of those people who are not interested in the truth whatsoever and really are putting forward a very specific sort of agenda.
I asked Steven Spielberg, who was friendly with Bradlee, whether the film lionized the Post journalists.
1971 is the story we were focusing on, the Washington Post and the fight with the Nixon administration to defend our First Amendment rights and publish these papers, both the New York Times and the Washington Post, who were both competitive but also collaborative in that they were both doing the right thing against what the Nixon administration was doing, which was patently the wrong thing. And we thought that was a story for the Times then and the Times today.
So you see some parallels with the attacks on the press in the Trump administration to this movie that takes place decades ago?
Well, I certainly leave that to everybody who sees the movie. They can draw their own conclusions, but this movie was not a partisan movie by a bunch of us kind of, Hollywood filmmakers and actors and actresses. This is a very patriotic film, and I don't think patriotism has any partisanship.
I also checked in with the real-life editor of today's Post, Marty Baron, about President Trump's denunciations of the press.
Well, nobody likes this, right? But, it's part of the way things are these days. It's the way it was actually at the time of Watergate as well. The president was attacking the Washington Post at the time, and the president's attacking the Washington Post and many other news outlets at the time right now as well.
And I couldn't let Meryl Streep go without asking about a recent shot she took at Fox News.
You've said you read the Washington Post, New York Times, Guardian, Politico, and you go to Fox often to see the manipulation. Do you think all of Fox News is manipulation?
Well, I watched The Five today, and I think that's an entertainment show.
What do you mean by manipulation?
What is chosen, what they choose to ignore. So on a big day, a big news day, which everybody acknowledges globally is a big news day, they go to a small college in Oregon and talk about one professor who is outrageous.
Well, whatever their views on politics and the media, this is one heck of a journalism movie.